everyone. Welcome to the Chinese Easy Home Cooking for this week. This week we're doing a hand shredded chicken salad. Second one is a braised king oyster mushrooms, and the dessert is a double boiled milk custard. It's fairly simple, and again, it's easy. So we'll go ahead and start. Let's start with chicken first. So I have chicken thigh. It's already been washed and cleaned, and I already trim out all the fat. You could use any part of the chicken. It doesn't have to be chicken thigh. It happens to be on sale in the supermarket, so I bought these. If you have more people, you can do the whole entire chicken as well. It doesn't matter. At the end, you're going to hand shred it anyway. So we'll start with rice cooker. We have 2 cloves of garlic, 1 shallot. This is a large shallot. You just quarter them, cut it in 4 pieces. If you want to have a bigger flavor, you can cut it into 8s. And then you have ginger. We'll do a 2 to 3 slices. If it's a small piece, you do 3 slices. If it's a really large piece, like say if I'm cutting this lengthwise, then you just need 2 pieces. But more ginger is fine because right now here it's winter time. It's getting a little cold. Ginger actually helps to warm up your body better. And then I have some green onions that I have used the green part earlier. And I only have the white part, and that's fine. I'll just toss it in. But if you have the entire green onion, that's okay. Just wrap them into a, bundle them so that they are not all over the place. It's fine, and just toss it in. And then now to the chicken thigh. I have 3 pieces. If you have less people, you can use less. You can use drumsticks. I don't recommend using wings unless you do the entire chicken. Otherwise, just thigh, breast, leg, or even a quarter, it's okay. Or a chicken quarter is fine too. You can leave the skin on, bones on. This one is skin and bone on. It doesn't matter whether it has it or not. It's actually cheaper to do it with the skin and bone on if you're on a budget. But if you don't want to deal with it, you could buy the skinless and boneless. Skin is actually fine. You don't have to eat it because you need the oil, the chicken oil, to help to moisturize the whole thing, and also it smells better. So what we do is we're going to lightly salt. Salt all sides. It's okay, you can be generous because the flavor, we're not marinating it, so the flavor doesn't really go in as deep. Get my pepper. Just black pepper is fine. If you like white pepper, you can use white pepper. Just your personal preference. Put this in, 1 piece. Two piece. And 3 piece. Then we put in 2 to 3 tablespoons of cooking wine. You can use any cooking wine that you like. Since I have 3 pieces of chicken, I will do a little bit more than 2 or up to 3 tablespoons. If you have an entire chicken and it's not a very big chicken, even just 4 tablespoons of wine, it's perfect. It's not more, but it's perfect. Over, put it in. turn it on and just let it cook. Then the next what we will do is we will have to start the dessert because it's going to take some time to cool, to wait for the skin. So here I have 2 cups of whole milk, and it has to be whole milk because we need the fat that creates the skin or the skin. So we'll just pour it in. Okay. And then we'll just put it on the stove top. You want to turn it on the low heat because you don't want it to burn, and you don't want the skin to be formed in the bottom of the pan. So you have to keep stirring. Remove this. You can see the milk. I just wanted to let it heat up hot enough, but not burning. You want it to be hot that you can see smoke coming out, but not boiling. And that's the temperature you want. And this particular dessert is going to take some time because it takes time to wait for the heat. But once you be able to have patience with it, it will come out really, really good. This is a sweet dessert. The amount of sugar I'm going to put in, it's not going to be significant, which is you can add anything that you want on top, whether it's fresh fruit, or if you want to put in purees, if you want to put on granola, jam, or even any of the sweet paste, like the Asian version, which is like the green bean paste. I mean, the red bean paste, the sweet red bean paste, sweet green bean paste, sweet date paste, any type of paste that is sweetened, you can add to it and eat along with it to bring up the sweetness. So the sugar content really depends on how much you like sweet and how sweet that you want it to be. There's no a particular version of it. So it's all about taste. You could kind of taste it yourself along the way and just to see how everything's going to work for you. Okay, slowly warming up. This is a cold milk. It just came out of the fridge, so it takes a little bit longer to heat up. But you do want to constantly stir because you don't want that skin to form in the bottom of the pan. And I don't know if you guys were able to try the recipe from last week or the few weeks prior. I hope you did, and I hope it's successful. I would love to hear from you about, what's your experience, how did it work, how's the taste. I would like to hear some feedback. And also if you have any suggestion or any ideas of what would you like to learn as far as the Chinese cooking, or something that you ate or you have been cooking that you want to find out an easier version. Please do send me a message and let me know so that I can find it, or I can kind of discover it and see what I can do for you, or I might be able to come up with a better version, whichever works. I know that some of you is trying to post different videos of Chinese cooking. I do review them. Unfortunately, I have to remove many of your posts. It's because, one, it has to be relevant to the video that we're doing or this group is doing, which means that it has to be very easy. Easy means that it has to be like extremely simple steps, very little ingredients, but it brings you big flavors and saves you time. That's the idea. There are a lot of traditional cooking methods for Chinese cooking, and there's nothing wrong with it, and they're perfectly fine and they're great. But the thing is, you know, I'm a busy mom and I don't want anybody to feel like you have to devote half a day or even a whole day in the kitchen just to cook a few meals or even just few dishes. It doesn't make sense. So this is specifically for these, you know, parents and families that, you know, kind of running short in time, that they wanted to be able to serve everybody with nice meals and simple recipes and big flavors. And that's the whole purpose of this group. I welcome to any of the ideas. I also welcome all your videos or postings, but you know, I just have to proofread it because you know some of the posts that put on my page or my group is just not meeting to those criteria. So unfortunately, I have to remove them. But again, I'm open to any ideas, or if you want to discuss it before you post, I'll be happy to review it before you post. It will be good. See, now it's smoking. You can kind of see start to smoke, and I can turn this off now. And then I will pour it into bowls. And let's see, let me move this. I have these 4 simple bowls. You could use any kind of bowl, big or small, doesn't matter, as long as you be able to fill. This is just the quantity that I do. You don't have to do as much, or you can do more. It's up to you. So let's pour it into the bowl. Okay. So we just let this cool. This is kind of a half a bowl. This is a regular rice bowl that we use, typical Chinese bowl. You can get it from any supermarket, any of the Asian stores. 4 half bowls, and we just let it cool. The reason cool is I want that fat to flow on top to create that skin on top, and that's the first layer of skin. We want to have double layer of skin on top of the dessert at the end. So this is the first layer of skin that we're forming, so we have to let it cool. Let me move this. Okay, now we are going to work on our, oh, actually for the salad, let me julienne the cucumber first. Here's the English cucumber. It's long. I like this kind of cucumber better because the skin is thinner. It's not as thick as the typical cucumber. So it actually still have the crunch, but with a lighter, sweeter flavor compared to the typical cucumber. So what we do is we'll slice it thinly, diagonal, and then we'll julienne it. So that way will give us a longer strands of julienne. So whether or not how big that piece, it's up to you. But usually I do it about 1/4 inch thickness. In this salad, you could eat it with rice, blend it with noodles. You could put it into a pita bread as a make it into a sandwich. You could do that. And this gives you this little light flavor. It's just really, really delicious. I'm using the whole cucumber. You don't have to. If you don't like it, you don't have to put it in. If you like carrots, you can put the julienne carrots in it. That it's gonna give you that little crunch to mix with the chicken. If you don't want any of the vegetables, you don't have to put it. It's all personal choice. Okay, Then we're gonna what we do is we kind of quickly line them up a bit, just kind of spread out, and just start. This will go a little faster. So it's not too thick, it's not hard to cut. Plate here. And I am going to edit the videos to pull out each individual dishes as an individual video down on YouTube, so that when you need to search, if you don't want to watch the entire video that we have, which is too long for sometimes, and if you want to just create one dish, you could do that and just watch one video. So I will let you know as soon as I have it edited and posted, so that you can go take a look at it. But I do recommend you to subscribe my video and also put on the notification bell, because that will help you to get the most updated information if you're not a person that keeps track of your Facebook very well, or you don't really have time to keep track of all the updates and whatnot. Then you can do it with the YouTube, and it's better. Let me tell you. Oh, so good. I like this cucumber. It's light and fresh, and it's sweet, and it's crunchy. You can make this in any season. You can eat it cold, you can eat it hot. Of course, not the cucumber, but the chicken, you can leave it cold, serve cold. Okay, I'm eating it in. Good. So this is the base of the salad. This is a lot, but if you don't do as much, you could do half or even quarter of the cucumber, because the cucumber is very, very big and they're long. Now we're going to cut the king oyster mushroom. So I have these mushrooms. First, you clean them with a wet paper towel. If there's any dirt or any yucky things that you wanted to wipe, do not wash. Just use a wet towel to wipe it. Cut the ends and throw it away, because it's very tough to eat at the end. Let me wash the plate. Okay, so how do we cut this? To cut it in diagonal to create a triangle, and every time we cut, we'll turn, cut, we turn to create a chunkier piece. Turn, cut, turn. If you can see, let me move this. Okay, so it's kind of like this already. So turn, I cut here. So now we have chunky pieces. It's fine. And since we have a good amount of people to eat today, and they do shrink a bit after you cook it, so we have to make more. If you have less people, you don't have to cook as much, but it's up to you. You can adjust however you want according to your needs. And if people love it, they may eat more. then you may not need to reduce the quantity. If you don't find the king oyster mushroom in your supermarket, then you can use other mushrooms. It's fine too. It's just the texture and the flavor is slightly different, but not significant. But you could pretty much do exactly the same. The flavoring, the way it cooks, it's just the same. There's no changes, just change of mushroom. You could do this with fresh shiitake mushroom, the string mushroom, any mushroom that you like. But of course, you know, the smaller the piece, the less cook time it requires. So you just adjust it accordingly. You can always taste test along the way, of course. Then now we do need ginger. So we need, let's see, this quantity, 2 slices, kind of thin, I'll do 3. If you cut it into a thicker piece, then just 2 pieces is fine. And then let me get my garlic. You just need 2 cloves of garlic. If it's big cloves, if it's small, you could do 3. And now I have 4. I'll just keep the 2. Okay. Magic. Peel. Another one. All right. So that's that. I'm gonna peel here. Let's see. Okay. So we're ready to cook the mushroom. All right. I am using a stock pan because the mushroom is kind of chunky. If I use a saute pan, it's a little too shallow. It's gonna hard to move around. So let's start. Okay, we'll start with high heat. Let's heat up the pot first. The chicken is actually halfway through. We're almost there. Okay, my pot is ready. I'm gonna pour oil into it. The mushrooms do soak up oil a lot, so it's okay to put a little bit more oil, but depending on how much you want to heat the oil, it doesn't matter. We're just gonna dry out the mushroom a bit, so you don't need a lot of oil because we're not depending on the oil for the flavor. Okay. Enough that is gently coated the base of the pot. Then we'll put the garlic and ginger in. And we're gonna brown it. Browning is basically to have it cooked until it's golden brown, but not burn. And then you can smell the fragrance of the garlic and ginger. Get my chopstick here. Okay, chopsticks. If your heat tends to be too high, you can always turn it down a bit so that it's not burning, especially on the garlic. You don't want it to burn. You want it brown, but you don't want it burn. Let's see if you can see. Okay, I can smell the garlic and the ginger, and they're golden brown. Okay. Then we'll put the oyster mushroom in. Just trying to quickly move it so that it will evenly coat it with some oil. Because if you just let it sit, some of the mushroom will like soak up all the oil. The other mushrooms just don't have oil at all. I mean, that is not the most important point. It's fine. But, you know, it would be nice to have some oil on every single mushroom. So we're just going to let it cook a bit until it starts releasing some liquid. Okay. And this is the way that we also call with browning the mushroom as well, because you want that light golden brown as well, so you can see kind of like have that light golden brown color. That's what we're looking for. Not burning it, so we want it to be brown, and also the liquid to release a little bit. Turn off the light. You see better? You can hear it sizzles because of the liquid that is coming out of the mushroom. So it has already been reduced some level of size. It smells wonderful. And now we're going to put in flavor. The flavor is very easy. 1.5 tablespoons of everything. So that is light soy sauce, 1.5 tablespoons. One and a half tablespoon of rice wine. Ideally, you could get sake, which is Japanese white wine. But if you cannot get access to any of the rice wine will be good because you don't want any other wine. It's just flavor-wise a little too strong. And then 1.5 tablespoon of mirin. And that's it. That's the flavor. Just mix it and then just let it braise. Let it cook. You want to reduce your heat down to medium low and cover it and just let it braise. Okay, so let's check on our milk. The skin is not forming yet, so it needs to be like really cold, like cool, almost like a not refrigerated cold, but it's going to be cold until the fats start to form top. And if you can't wait that long, you could put it in the refrigerator, but you know, it's not really necessary. Okay, let me start cleaning up. There isn't much to do, really. Okay, just gonna clean up real quick. And we're pretty much done. We're just waiting for the chicken to be finished. And then we can start, let it cool, and then we'll start shredding. So flavor for Chinese cooking, pretty much a standard flavoring: salt, sugar, soy sauce, wine, and sometimes different kind of a sauce that like ready-made sauce. But aside from there, it's not much. You don't need 10, 15, sauces or flavoring to mix into one sauce. I mean, of course, if you want, you could do it. It's more complex, but is it really necessary? I mean, I'm sure when you're in a restaurant, you're a chef, you want to create something different other than home cooking. That's perfect. It's great. But for home cooking, I just don't have the time or have the space to keep all these sauces all over the place for something that I may use just in one dish, and then everything else I just don't. So I usually will just stock something that I typically will have. Aside from that, everything else, I'll just procrastinate. As long as the flavor comes out, it's good enough for me to eat, and the family's happy with it, I'm okay with it. So I don't have to get so much and have to deal with everything and remember where they are, what do I cook with, especially for things that you don't typically cook with. It's really, really difficult to utilize it for your next cooking. Ended up, that is money that you wasted, because buy something that you only use once and everything else is a waste. Then what's the point, right? Okay, let's see. All right, looks like our mushrooms might be ready. I can smell it. All the flavor. I can smell the wine, the mirin, and the soy sauce. It's so good. And it's tender. The mushroom is tender, but yet still have a little bit of a crunch to it. This is what's so good about a king oyster mushroom, is that it does have the flavoring and it does have that little bit of a toughness on the outside, but you know, inside it's very tender and soft and it's very juicy. Compared to, let's say, a button mushroom, which is the white cap mushroom, those they are just very soft after you cook. It's very soft, so it doesn't really have that tough and chewiness or the crunch on the outside. And once you bite on, it's just a mush, basically. So it's not an ideal mushroom to use, but you know, but if you don't have it and that's the only thing you have, you can still use it. Okay, I think we're good. All right, let's scoop it up. Okay, there you have it, braised king oyster mushroom. Then let's check and see if our chicken is ready. It's almost very close. You can see the bones, especially this part, the bones is starting to peel away from the meat. So it's almost ready. It's going to be very tender, very juicy. Same time for the dessert. For the dessert, we do need 2 egg whites. Large eggs will be good. Medium eggs is okay too. If it's small eggs, you probably want to increase a little bit the egg whites, but you don't want to use too much egg whites because with too much egg whites with the custard, it actually, when it's formed, it's going to be tough, like a little bit chewier than soft and smooth. So we want to keep it that well balanced. But 2 egg whites would be a good. Basically, this is a 2 cup, which is 5 milliliter worth of milk, whole milk. Okay, so let me get the egg whites. Okay, I have 2 eggs. I'm gonna break them and separate them into white and yolk. See, so you can see this. All right. So I have 2 eggs. We're gonna do, oh, I'm gonna put the whites here. Just slowly pour out and then transfer the egg yolk to the smaller shell. Then the egg white comes right out. Then you put the yolk into the other bowl. The same thing with this one. Okay, there you have it. You can keep the egg yolk for other dishes, so you don't have to discard it. It's a waste if you discard it. You can put it into your scrambled egg that you have the extra egg yolk into it, and you can do that. Or if you want to do it some other way, or stir fry in something or your noodles, you can use it. So let me clean my hands. Get my whisk. You can use a fork, chopsticks, whichever. Just whisk it. Just whisk the egg white. Okay, until it incorporate, it's fine. As long as there's no clumps or chunks, they're breaking up, that's fine. Then put in 2 tablespoons of sugar. Just granulated sugar is fine. I wouldn't recommend to use any other like color sugar because it's gonna make the custard turn into a strange brownish sugar color. It's not white anymore, so it may not look very appetizing. So 2 tablespoons. If you want not as sweet, you want less sweet, you can put less sugar. If you like sweet, you can put more. Really depends on your flavor, your taste bud. Everyone is different. So we'll mix this in. Now we're just gonna blend it. We're not going to whisk to a point where it turns into a meringue. That is not what we're doing. We just need to incorporate so that the sugar melts to some degree, because we do need to steam it afterwards to create that second layer of skin. Okay. This. It's getting cold here because we just had a snow for yesterday. It's not a very heavy snow, but it's the first snow of the year. Seems like it came a little early from the last few years. But it's fine. It's getting colder. It's normal. It's winter. Okay, the chicken, since I have 3 pieces, my pot is fairly small, so it's not, there's 1 piece that's not completely ready. I'm gonna take out the first 2 pieces first. Yeah, these 2 are ready. It's still hot, so I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit before I touch. Let me put away all my ingredients. Okay. And let me mix the sauce. Yes, to make the sauce. So the sauce, we have where are my things? Okay, here. So we put in ½ teaspoon of salt. ½ teaspoon of salt. This is a sesame seed dressing or sauce. It's really good. It's not as thick as the sesame paste. It's a paste with oil on top. Those are too thick. These are lighter. These can use as a dressing, as a marinade. It's very flavorful on its own, but we want to add our own flavor on top of it. So we just need 1 tablespoon. And you can taste test along the way because everyone's taste bud is different. That's delicious. Everyone's taste bud is different. So we don't want to be, pick up a flavor that you don't like. Then next, we will do vinegar, a dark vinegar. Dark vinegar, it could be anything. If you don't have Asian dark vinegar, which is, they call it the mature vinegar, which means they've been around for a while. They've been marinated or been cured for a long time. You could use this. If you don't have it or you cannot buy these kind of vinegar, balsamic vinegar works just fine. And then we need half tablespoon of it because we need a little bit of a tart or acidic to it. Of course, if you like more acidic, you can add more. Again, try it, taste along the way, so you know what's good and what's not good for you. Then we do 1 teaspoon of sesame seed oil. And then 1 teaspoon of honey, if you have it. If not, other things, just other sugar substance is fine too. But you know, everyone's taste but different. Again, it's different. So everyone go ahead and taste what you like. If you don't have honey, you can use sugar as long as you blend it well, so that it will not, as long as the taste is there that you like. That's about. Okay. And then I like to have a more sesame seed flavor. Then I will add a little bit of the sesame seed into it. Oh, my third piece of chicken is ready as well. Okay, then let's see. Okay, it's cool enough. Let me get my gloves. We're running a little bit low in time because I have to go. So the dessert I will show you later. I'll edit the video and I'll show you later how it was finished. So for this, we'll remove the skin first. You can shred the skin. If you like the skin, you can shred it and eat it along with it. But if you don't like the skin, you don't have to. You can just discard it. You just hand pull. Don't make it into a large chunk because, after all, the reason for hand shreds is we want that rough but yet fine texture. And then it's more like a snack size or snack bite size, so that it's not so chunky. And we want to do it in shreds so that it's still very hot. So if you like this, it's a good piece, but if you think it's too chunky, you can pull it into a smaller piece like this, and that's the hand shred part. If you want even smaller, you can pull even more. See, it's almost like a chicken salad that you're doing, and it's still very juicy. You can see my plates, how much juice that comes out. That's great. But if you don't want to do it by hand, you can use a fork if you want. But that actually does, for me, I don't feel like it's working as well as you pull it by hand, just because it's not really as even as you do it by hand, because at least you can feel it with your hand, the thickness of the chicken. And if you have family that you can work this with, it's kind of therapeutic if you have the time. But if you don't have the time, it's fine. You can cut it into, you know, julienne it if you want, but you just don't have that rustic texture to it. But it doesn't matter. You can use a knife to cut it into strips or smaller pieces if you want to save time. It's still very hot. Okay, I'm just gonna mix a little bit just to show you what it looks like when it's finished. Since we're running a little low in time, at least I am. So you just put it in, mix, mix, mix. And then I will have the sauce. Then you just put it on top of your salad or your cucumber. And that's your salad. Of course, once you finish all your chicken and pole and everything, put it on top, it will have a large amount. And then if you want, you could just eat it like that, or you can mix it however you want to do it, and then it will be really good. It's gonna look really, really good. And let me check on my dessert one last time. So the skin of the milk is still forming. So the first layer is gonna take, it's taking longer than I'd expected. But I will finish, edit the video. I'm gonna post it as a separate video for you guys so that you can look at it and see. And I will put down the exact time and temperature if you wanna measure. That will make it a little easier for everybody. And the rest of it, it's done. We have the king oyster mushroom and also the chicken salad. They all taste wonderful, and I hope you try it and then test it and see how everything works out for you. And I will see you next week. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.